All right. Good morning, everybody who's watching our live stream about the weather and what's going on and how cold it is out there. This is Chief Meteorologist Steve Baylon live in the First Alert Weather Center. Thanks for joining us. Are you staying warm? I hope you are. I have to tell you, this is the time of the year where I try not to eat my own face. That sounds weird, right? This is what I'm talking about. See this? I have this little tube of lip balm, and it's actually from Shopko. And you know, the Shopko stores closed years ago. I've been nursing this thing over the years. But we're at that time of year where when you have Arctic air, I don't know about you, but if you're like me, your lips, they get dry, sometimes cracked. So I'm trying to put an extra layer on. This way, I don't eat my own face. I don't chew on my own lip because that's what I do when it is this cold and this dry. The pleasures of living in Wisconsin when it is this time of year. All right. Well, you didn't join our live stream to hear me talk about me eating my face and chewing my lips. So we want to talk about the weather. All right. So let's see here. For the next 28 minutes, we're under a wind chill advisory from the National Weather Service, all those pink shaded counties. The wind chills this morning, 10 to 25 degrees below zero. And in the Fox Valley, we haven't quite gotten down to minus 20. So one could argue whether this wind chill advisory really verified or not. You really need that wind chill to get down to minus 20. But I digress. Whether it's 15 below or 25 below, it's cold. And hopefully people are playing it smart when they go outside, especially if they're going to be out for a long period of time. These are temperatures where it's 0 in Green Bay, same thing with Appleton, 5 below in Oshkosh. It is 11 below for a temperature in Wautoma. You know, I had a viewer email me this morning from the Wautoma area, and he was wondering, how could it be that your air temperature could be a certain amount and your wind chill be warmer? That doesn't make any sense, right? Well, the airport out of Wautoma had a few hours this morning where they were not reporting the wind speed and the wind direction. So we had the current temperature, but we had an older wind chill, which is why those numbers didn't make any sense, in case you're a very sharp observer of our newscast. Anyway, so those are the temperatures. See, Wautoma's wind speed is not recorded there. So unfortunately, that's something that hopefully they can fix over there. That might be something the FAA has to take care of. But in the valley, over towards the lake shore, west to southwest winds are blowing in around 10 miles an hour. So when you step outside, the little bubble of body heat that kind of hugs you as you go everywhere blows away. And then all of a sudden you feel that it's colder than what the thermometer is actually telling you. So even though we're at 0 in Green Bay, our wind chill is 16 below. And Oshkosh and Fond du Lac are duking it out for the Golden Icicle Award. Wind chills down to 22 degrees below zero. This is one of those weird mornings where it's actually colder south as opposed to the north. And I suspect that the heavily forested areas up in the north woods are helping to modify those temperatures just a touch, just a little tiny bit. Anyway, so your severe weather outlook for the rest of the morning is low, borderline moderate, with wind chills getting down to as low as 25 degrees below zero. Frostbite can happen in just half an hour on exposed skin, your hands, your ears, your nose. You know, the exposed skin that sometimes we don't always cover up because we're just running outside to go do something, you know. And next thing you know, we're outside even longer than what we anticipated. So just make sure you cover up as much as you can. And dressing warmly and in layers is definitely helpful to retain that extra body heat. So the forecast for today, I think you'll see clouds mixing with sunshine. It's going to be a partly sunny day. The actual air temperatures will get into the upper single digits to about 10. I think Green Bay's high will be around 9. Wind chills in the teens below zero this morning with single digits below zero as we go towards this afternoon. Now, let's go into the future. First Alert Pinpoint Predictor shows the actual highs. 9 in Green Bay, 10 in the Fox cities. A whole row of dozen-degree high temperatures there. 12 in Shawano, Wapaka, Wautoma, and 11 for high temperatures in Pembine and in Marinette. If you compare those high temperatures to where we normally are for the 17th day of January, Most of our high temperatures are roughly 15 degrees colder than normal for this time of year. But of course, you got to factor in the wind. So as we go into 10 o'clock, Green Bay's wind chill should be around minus 14, getting back to a minus 5 as we get to 4 o'clock this afternoon. And because we're staying in negative territory all the way through the afternoon, you know that kids are not going to have recess outside. They're going to have indoor recess to keep them protected. A lot of schools will use that 0-degree wind chill as the threshold, whether recess is inside or outside. So they will stay, and the kids will run around the gym today. So when does this Arctic air end? Well, our next weather maker, it's really a pattern change across North America. Milder winter weather is going to return to northeast Wisconsin next week. And I expect not a lot, but limited amounts of snow melting and ice melt. So a good chunk of this winter has been warm because of the El Nino-driven weather pattern. And then last week, we got, periods of snow. And this week, it's Arctic air. Next week, we're going to go back into what we had earlier this winter. So here's the weather pattern right now. Today, we get a high of 9 in Green Bay. Look at the jet stream flow. You see how it's flowing out of western and central Canada down towards the Great Lakes? That's allowing the Arctic air to ooze into Wisconsin. But this weather pattern is going to change. As we go into the weekend, watch the wind flow come off of the Pacific Ocean. Do you see that? See how it blows across the Rockies into the plains in the Midwest? That's going to kick out that Arctic air. It'll go back north of the border, bye-bye. And then Monday, Tuesday, and beyond, our high temperatures will generally be at and above freezing. And even our low temperatures will probably be around the freezing mark or even warmer than that. So this is a good setup for some melting snow. Now, we have a snow depth of 16 inches in Green Bay. That's not all going to disappear, but maybe half of it disappears. I'm throwing out arbitrary numbers because I want the snow lovers out there to realize that doesn't mean it all's gone. But, obviously, if you care about being on a snowmobile, you're paying attention. And if you're interested in ice fishing, especially thinking ahead to sturgeon spearing as we go into February, this is probably a little more concerning because we were reporting this morning on Action 2 News this morning that, even though we've got Arctic air, the ice is not terribly thick on Lake Winnebago. Perhaps it's like around 6, 7, 8 inches. And it probably will thicken up over the next couple of days, but that trend might start reversing itself next week, depending on how warm those temperatures get. That's something that bears some watching. And as this milder air flows in, there's going to be a chance of some wet weather. Now, Friday, a little disturbance will give us a few scattered snow showers. That's not a big deal. But as the warmer air comes in next week, Monday night, we could have a little bit of a spotty wintry mix that could contain a little touch of freezing drizzle. But most of the precipitation we're going to get Tuesday and then maybe Wednesday into Thursday is probably going to be rain. Temperatures will be generally above the freezing mark. So when you get temperatures above freezing plus rain falling on our snowpack, that's probably going to enhance that melting that happens next week. Again, snow is not going to all disappear, but a decent chunk of it will start to fade away. And as that melting happens and the moisture evaporates and gets up into the atmosphere, if the air is calm enough, I wouldn't be surprised if next week, along with the mild and cloudy weather, we may have some times where it's rather foggy as well. So that's something to kind of tuck in the back of your mind and think about as we're thinking about how next week might look. Right now, though, we've got mostly cloudy to overcast skies in Green Bay. Temperature is 0, wind chill 16 below. We've got a brisk southwest wind at 10 miles an hour. Today, clouds mixed with some occasional sun, partly sunny. That should fit the bill, right? Very cold, a high of 9. Wind chills this afternoon, about 5 to 15 degrees below 0. Tonight, wind chills in the teens below 0. Not quite cold enough for a wind chill advisory from the Weather Service. Not quite cold enough to issue a first alert weather day. That is expiring after our mid-morning show today. High clouds, bitter cold, a low of -3. Now, here's the first alert 7-day forecast. See how slowly we come out of the Arctic air? Not much change, really. You think about it, Thursday through Sunday. Our highs will be in the teens. Our lows will be right around 0. We will see intervals of sun and clouds and a few snow showers on Friday. But then that Pacific air comes in as we wrap up the weekend and go into early next week. And then, boom, 32 on Monday, 36 on Tuesday. Could be even warmer than that Wednesday going into Thursday. We may be looking at highs in the upper 30s. clouds, some occasional rain, perhaps some fog, and people wondering what is up with winter. Make up your mind, right? Again, it's that El Nino driven pattern that is probably going to take hold again as we go into next week. You know, you might be watching this stream from different sources. Maybe you're watching it on social media, maybe you're watching it on Roku, maybe you're watching it on our apps. You know what? If you don't have our free WBAY First Alert Weather app, please download it because we are updating your forecast all the time, sending you multiple movies to it, updating your hour-by-hour forecast. This app really came in handy when we had all these alerts, like last week when we had a blizzard warning. No matter where you were, boom, right to your phone. When we've had these wind chill advisories, boom, it goes right to your phone. And when we do have snow, which will happen again eventually, maybe this Friday, some lighter snow showers, you can of course track those snow showers with us by using our free app. So we've got Action 2 News mid-morning coming up at 9 o'clock, and I also want to make sure you guys are watching Action 2 News at noon. And at 4, meteorologist Keith Gibson is coming up, and he'll look through the latest data. And, he might adjust the forecast a little bit, but he'll go into some more detail on what's going on. So we want to make sure that you're watching that. So, yeah, we're definitely in the deep freeze, but I think the coldest air this week is now kind of behind us, and we're just kind of slowly coming out of it. I was explaining to Dave Edwards this morning on WHBY, Arctic air is heavy, it's dense, it really kind of oozes its way around North America. It's almost like if you had a stack of pancakes, all piled up, and then you poured syrup on top of the pancakes. Well, the syrup would hit the top and then kind of slowly come off the sides of the pancakes. That's Arctic air. Arctic air just kind of slowly moves. It takes a while for it to get on out of here. But with some time, and as the weather pattern changes, the Arctic air is going to get on out of here as the jet stream blows some Pacific air in here, and there will be changes. And you know how it is. Winter is a polarizing thing. We got some people who can't stand this frigid air. We have some people who are relishing it, like, yay, ice fishing's coming up, and this is great. So this pattern change is going to happen as we come out of the weekend. And speaking of the weekend, so if you are a winter weather lover and you were happy to get snow, but you've been kind of, cautious to go outside and enjoy it because we've had some harsh wind chills, this weekend is probably the weekend to do it. We'll have sunny to partly sunny skies, highs in the mid to upper teens, and the wind chill won't be too bad. So if you are into skiing, if you are into snowshoeing, if you are into snowmobiling, if you're listening, Emerson Lehman, this is applying to you and a lot of folks in Northeast Wisconsin. Get out this weekend and try to enjoy winter and all that it can bring us here in Wisconsin. There will definitely be some changes as we get some balmy January weather as we go into next week. All right, I've done enough yapping. It is about time for me to wrap things up. I do appreciate watching our live stream, getting a weather update. We love being able to reach you wherever you're at. And again, watch Action 2 News mid-morning at 9 a.m. and then meteorologist Keith Gibson on Action 2 News at noon and at 4 o'clock. And I hope you have a great day and stay warm. We'll talk to you again later. Bye-bye.